All right, here we go. Go ahead and get out your homework. Welcome to Monday. All right, so we had 1 through 12 all. So all these questions were the same. Basically, you find out what the discriminant is, and then whether the discriminant is a positive, negative number, or zero determines how many solutions. Remember, positive number means 2 solutions. If the discriminant is 0, it's 1 solution, and if it's negative, no solutions. And that equates to whether the parabola touches the x-axis in 2 spots, 1 spot, or it doesn't touch it at all. All right, so here we go. Number 1, the discriminant is 9, therefore it's positive, therefore 2 solutions. Number 2, it's negative 27, therefore there are no solutions. Number 3, it is 0, 1 solution. Number 4, 49, 2 solutions. Number 5, 0, 1 solution. Number 6, negative 20, no solutions. Number 7, 0, 1 solution. Number 8, 76, 2 solutions. Number 9, 21, 2 solutions. Number 10, negative 23, therefore no solutions. Number 11, it's 1.16, therefore there's 2 solutions. And the last one, number 12, the last question of the year, 0, 1 solution. All right, go ahead and answer question 1 on Google Forms. So here we go, last week. So here's what I need you to do. Some of you might be tempted to say, well, you know, I don't have this test until next week on Thursday. I'll take a look at this on Wednesday night. That would be a bad idea, bad idea. So I will say this. All right, you have a lot of time between now and the final. But if you wait, until a day before the test, it doesn't give you any opportunity to ask me questions. It also doesn't allow you any opportunity to really review the material. So what would I suggest? Oh, I don't know. 15, 20 minutes every day, maybe, if this is the one that you're worried about. If you look at the review sheet and you're like, well, I know how to do all of these and I'm super confident, okay, maybe not so much. But many of you definitely need to review this material. Okay, and I guess one last plea, if you're really having any issues with any of these subjects, I've tried to break these down into subjects. Please ask me. So today we're going to do basically half of the material, and then on Wednesday we'll do the other half. All right, let's get going. So at the bottom of the Google Forms, you'll see the test review worksheet. I've given you a lot of problems here. This doesn't represent the number of problems that will be on the semester final, but it does represent exactly the types of problems. So I'm not going to say, well, cut this in half and that'll be the semester final. The semester final will certainly be, for the average student, it'll be over an hour's worth of material to take a test on. So I'm shooting for, like I said, somewhere between, 50 to a 90-minute test. So if you're really, really quick and you understand material, maybe about 45 to 50 minutes. And if you're struggling with material, it's going to take you a full hour and a half, 90 minutes to take the test. All right, so this is going to cover chapters 6 through 8. When we came back from Christmas break, we started with chapter 6. We made all the way through, we made into chapter 12. The only thing that I'm going to put, and this will be on the second day review, the only thing that on chapter 12 is going to be the quadratic formula, the easy thing. All right, some just general notes, right? It will be a multiple choice test. And when I say you must get the answer, okay, so if it's a multiple choice test, when you get the answer and you get -9 and there's no -9 as A, B, C, or D, picking the one that's closest to -9 is probably maybe not the best idea. There's probably a few times when that's correct. But most of the time, when you get the wrong answer, you got to find your problem to get to the right answer. The benefit of this is that you can confirm right then and there you got the answer correct. There should be no doubt whether you did well or poorly on this test, simply or because it's a multiple choice test. You should know, hey, I got 2, and there it is. Answer number 3 is 2, or answer on number 3 for B is 2. The review, there's no difference between the questions I have on the review and the questions that will be on the test. The subject matter. So if it's not for Algebra 1, but if it's a 2-step equation on the review, there's going to be a 2-step equation on the test. Please, please, please. Okay, I'm going to, some of you are probably going to sit here and just listen to my voice while you're doing this. Do the practice test. right? Before, when I say, okay, now I'm going to show you number 3, do number 3 first. See if you can get it done. If you can't, then listen to my explanation. Hopefully it stimulates remembrance of when you learn this, because you've learned all of this before. But I'm saying take an active part. Just don't assume that you can listen to this and you'll do well. Make sure you do the practice test. I personally would recommend most of you doing the practice test at least twice. At least twice. Remember, I give you the answers as well, too. Some of you may want to do the practice test, 4 or 5 times. For the questions that are hard, right? For the questions that, the first time you take the practice test and you get, these 3 wrong, those are the ones you need to focus on. So obviously you're only going to have as many questions that I give to you, but that doesn't mean you can't email me and say, hey, I'm really struggling with a quadratic formula. Can you give me, 5 examples or 10 examples? I'll give you plenty of examples, okay? You got plenty of time to do this. Plenty of time. The test is next Thursday. Not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. So you got plenty of time, even if there's 2 or 3 areas that you need help on. So make sure you use that time wisely. Take the practice test multiple times. Email me for help. Don't email me and say, I don't get any of this stuff, right? That's not very helpful. Figure out what you need help on and then email me. Topic 1. This will be on the test. How do you multiply rational numbers? In other words, how do you multiply 2 fractions together? Now, this is Algebra 1. Last year, there were just basic numbers. Now there's numbers and variables. So remember, when you multiply any 2 fractions, tops with tops, bottoms with bottoms, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. And if you can, cross-reduce, make your life easy. If you don't cross-reduce, then you have that last step of reduce the fraction. If you do cross-reduce, right, and you fully cross-reduce, then that is reducing the fraction before you even multiply. All right, so let's look at this one. Let's see, and this is the format here. Notice it's question 1 on the practice test. There are the 4 answers. It's already telling you that A is the answer. So let's see why A is the answer. Well, let's see, I got 11 over 5x squared times 20 over 9. Anything to cross-reduce? Sure, the 5 and then 20. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 20 4 times. Multiply straight across, so we get 44 over 9x squared, and that's answer A. Remember, you may have to multiply variables. Remember, like variables, you add the exponents. All right, so here's a much more complicated one, but this one actually is pretty simple. Remember, you can cancel things that are being multiplied. So is there anything being multiplied that we could cancel? Well, let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but notice I have a 12 times something on the first fraction in the denominator, and on the second fraction, the numerator, I got a 12 times something. So we are allowed to cancel the 12s. If it was 12 plus n, right, on one, and 12 plus b on the second one, you can't cancel the 12s because that's addition. In this case, there's multiplication going on. We can cancel. Anything else? Well, notice that there is a n plus 14 on this one, and there's an n on 14 on this one. So that would be the same thing as, 4 over 4 reduces to 1, that sort of thing. And anything else? Well, I see there's a 13n plus 4 on this one and a 13n plus 4. Once again, I can cancel these because there's multiplication going on. So we canceled almost everything. The only thing that's left is 5n squared, and that's why that's the answer. Okay, let's do another one. Division. So remember, when you're dividing rational, this is topic 2, by the way. When you're dividing rational numbers, remember you need to do copy dot flip first. So don't do any cross reduction before you do a copy dot flip. So I do a copy dot flip, and then any cross reduction, lots of cross reduction. So in no particular order, let's see, 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 4 goes into 25 times. 5 goes into 15 3 times, and 5 goes into 24 times. Multiply everything across. Notice I never canceled the m. I never canceled the m. So, yeah, we're left with what? 9m over 20, which is answer C. All right. One more, much more complicated division. Remember, when you see division, before you do any canceling or cross reduction, let's do a copy dot flip first. Copy dot flip. All right, no particular order. There's lots of different ways to cancel here. Notice that we got a b minus 8 and a b minus 8 there. Why am I allowed to cancel that? Because there's multiplication. That's 11 times the quantity b minus 8. Oh, by the way, that means we can cancel the 11s as well, too. And what are we left with? B minus 8 over 1. Yeah, that was answer C. Sorry for flipping that too quickly. All right, topic number 3. Oh, this was everyone's favorite, right? Obviously, I'm being sarcastic here. So this is the adding, subtracting with fractions. And of course, our fractions are going to have, a mixture of variables and coefficients. Okay, so remember what the steps are. No different than if I was adding 1/2 plus 1/3. You have to get a common denominator. Remember, the way we get a common denominator is we look at the coefficients. And we're only looking at the denominators here, right? The coefficients are 5 and 3. So what's the common denominator of 5 and 3? 15. Then we look at the variables, and I need all of the variables to their highest power. So for instance, there's an x, well, x is only to the first power, and there's a y, and y is to the second power. So my common denominator is 15xy squared. Okay, if both denominators had an x, I would pick the x to the highest power. If both of them had a y, I would pick the y to the highest power. Okay, so now we have the common denominator. This is how I do it. I basically, give myself some space in the fraction. I know I need to turn both denominators now into 15xy squared. So on that first fraction, it already says 5x, so what would I have to multiply to get to a 15? That would be a 3. What would I have to multiply to get to an xy squared? Well, I need a y squared. So that I'm going to multiply that first fraction by 3y squared. And remember, it's 3y squared over 3y squared because what I'm really multiplying by is 1. All of that would cancel. So I'm not really changing the fraction numerically. I'm changing visually its appearance. Okay. The second fraction, how do you turn a 3 into a 15? Multiply by 5. How do you turn a y squared into an xy squared? We've got to multiply by an x. So I'm multiplying top and bottom by 5x. All right. Okay. Now we're going to do the math. Let's see. The first fraction would turn into 9y squared over 15xy squared. And the second one would be, 10x. And then we simply add those together. Okay, notice we have common denominators there, so we add. Sometimes when you add the numerators, it might actually accomplish something, right? Meaning that maybe, you could group like terms. In this case, they're not like terms, so it's just 9y squared plus 10x, and by the way, that's the answer. That's answer B.